All right, hello, good morning, good evening, and good night. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic because today we're going to be talking about YMAX and hitting some personal goals. If you guys aren't aware, I have a personal goal over here of about $2,000, not 200,000. That would be great. $2,000 in terms of monthly income. And what I've done today is I've taken your advice. I've created an Excel sheet because War Commander tutorials 4499 intense name. Rather than using a Word doc and calculator, why not just use a Google Sheet or Excel? Absolutely, I'm gonna like that. That's a good win. Thank you I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. And thank you. And you know what, Thomas, I want to thank you as well. I'm giving out likes today. I appreciate all the love and support. And War Commander, I know there's been a couple people who have been in my comments and have been suggesting to use an Excel sheet. So that's what I've done today. We're going to go over YMAX. We're going to go over a $20,000 investment, and we could bump this up not to a $40,000 investment, but we could do a different sort of investment here. Let's see. This is why I don't like Excel. Sometimes it goes a little bit funny, but you know what? Today we're going to stick with it. We're going to do our best. Let's see what we can do here. Put this up to, let's do $100,000 as promised in the video title here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a $20,000 investment in YMAX, see exactly how much we're going to be earning in terms of dividends by the end, and then we'll also jump in and do a $100,000 investment as well. So if that does sound good, we're experimenting with Excel. We're also bumping up our subscribers. We're up to 5,747 subscribers, 328 subscribers in the past 28 days. That's awesome, guys. I like to see this at maybe 1,000 subscribers in the past 28 days. So help us achieve our mission. So currently, YMAX has a 60.81% dividend. Of course, over the kind of historical charts and everything with YMAX over its history, things change. It was paying about a 40% dividend. Now it's paying a bit of a bigger dividend because it switched to weekly dividends, and it's currently paying out a lot more than it was, 80 cents compared to the 60 cents it was paying back when it was paying monthly. So what we're going to do in this video is I've taken all of the dividends, I've taken all of the share price at the exact same markers, and what I'm going to do is we are going to see exactly, okay, how much are we going to be receiving at the end of the year in dividends, what is our share value, and then as well, without reinvesting dividends, just taking our initial amount of shares, multiplying it by the last share price, and then adding all of our dividends, what exactly we're going to receive. So let's jump into it right here. I've done the first kind of calculations already, just taking the share price multiplied by our $20,000 investment gives us $20,000 value of shares. Next, we have a 53-cent dividend, which was paid out February 14th. I'm just going to show you one kind of reference here. I'm not going to do this for the whole video. February 14th, the share price was at $21.21. If we go here, $21.21, the dividend was 53 cents and 33 fractions of a cent here. So what I'll do here is we go to February here, the first dividend, 53.39. Awesome. So we know we're all on the same page here. So that would produce us 1,029 shares, which would give us a dividend, multiplying our 1,029 shares by the dividend amount of $549. A total valuation when we add our shares, our share price would be $21,630. And this is taking into account dividend reinvesting. So next, when we reinvest this $500, we accumulate a couple more shares. And how we did this was we basically took our last shares, we multiplied it by the dividend, we divided it by the share price, and then we added back our shares that we currently had. This gave us a dividend of $600. And when we look to do our complete valuation of our shares, we're going to go like this. We're going to take our share amount, we're going to multiply that by the share price, bang. So we're currently up to $23,000 with only about 2 months into investing into YMAX with a $20,000 initial investment. Cool. So now let's go to our next kind of share amount here. I'm going to go to equals, and you're going to have to bear with me, guys. I'm just kind of learning how we're doing Excel just as we go here. I know kind of the basics of it at the current moment, but I am by no means an Excel pro. So we're going to go like this. We're going to multiply our share amount by our dividend. We are going to divide that by our share price, and we are going to add this to the last dividend, which is going to give us our new amount of shares, which we are reinvesting. And then to get our total dividends, we're going to go equals our current amount of shares, which we've reinvested, times 63 cents, which was in April. So we're going to go like this, boom, multiply, bang. So this is our new dividend amount here, and we're going to put this into currency. We're going to do this entire thing into currency so that we know we're dealing with some money here. So our new reinvested total, and this is not adding any more money. You could add more money to this $20,000 every month, maybe $1,000 every month, and definitely significantly increase your dividends. But this is only starting with a $20,000 investment. This is nothing crazy. So now what we'll do is we'll get our total here by going to our shares, multiplying it by our share price. Boom, we're up to $22,565. All right, cool. Now let's go to our next marker here. What we'll do equals, we have our last shares, multiply it by our dividend amount, divide it by our share price, and then add it to our last potential shares. So now we're up to 1,127 shares. You can see our shares are growing pretty much exponentially here, which is kind of cool. We're reaching that marker where our shares are buying more shares and they're feeding us more dividends, which is exactly what we want from these strategies. Boom. Now we're up to $824, which is pretty substantial. What we'll do here equals, let's do our total shares. We're going to multiply that by our share price. Let's see how we're doing here. And as you guys can see, we jump up to our highest marker here, $23,252. Awesome. Next, we're going to go here. What we'll do is let's get our total amount in terms of shares. Once again, reinvesting. This is the 5th month going in here. We're going to divide by our share price, as we must do. Bang. So we're up to, oh, look at that. It even did the whole calculation for us here, which I absolutely love. We got our dividends here of $852. Our total valuation's going up. As you can see, our share price has remained relatively stable all the way up until this point. We see here that it kind of drops off to the $18 range, but for the current time being, it's doing pretty good. And we're closing in on about $24,000. Of course, the more money you have in, the more your percent is going to affect your total return, because that's just how compound interest works. Now let's go here. Let's see what we get. We're going to multiply by our shares. Multiply our shares by our dividend. We're going to divide by our share price, and then we are going to add our last month's shares. Bang. Awesome. So we're now up to 12,000 shares, or 12,000. That'd be awesome. 1,200 shares, $785. So we're taking a dip in our monthly income. This is the first time that we've seen a dip, and it really comes because we had a huge dip in the dividend paid out. But you can see here, we're still growing in terms of our valuation. We're currently at about a 25% return if we're looking at our initial investment of $20,000. Not quite there, but getting close. Now let's add these up again. Boom. We got a cycle here. We go in. Boom. We multiply by that dividend. We divide by the share price. We add our last dividends. Bang. Okay, wow. Look at this. We've seen a decline here. Now that we've seen a huge decline in the dividends, we didn't see as much of a decline just because we're gaining that much more shares, about 40 more shares, but we see a huge decline in our share value because we took a $2.04 hit here on the share price if you just look right here. Next, let's go into our next dividend. Bang. So we go equals, bang, multiply. Oh, this is where it gets interesting, because this is where we turn to weekly dividends now. So you're going to see a big hit to the dividend income, but all that is basically turning from monthly to weekly. And is it a dividend hit? No, it's actually a dividend increase, surprisingly. It's just now we're going from monthly to weekly. If you take this, you multiply it by 4, you're looking at about $1,000 right there. So that is a lot more than the previous month. Let's continue on here. Let's go and let's see our next kind of dividend valuation here. Okay, we're going to divide, and then we're going to add this marker here. Bang. Okay, so you can see here, even with so we had a very slight increase. We gained about 16 more shares in a week, and we pretty much stayed about the same, a slight drop in terms of our dividend income. But you could see here, just with a slight increase in the share price, because we have so many shares now, our valuation jumped up about $700 or so, which is pretty good. Cool. So let's continue on here. We have our shares. Boom. That would make it right. We multiply here by our dividend. We divide by our share price. And then we add here our other shares. And when we do this with our other one, what I'll do is I can just change this invested amount, and we're going to completely change all these values. So we're not going to be doing all this again. I understand it's a lot. So let's finish off with our very last one. We have, it looks like 12,092 shares times a dividend of 20 cents. We're going to divide that by the share price of $17.64. We're going to add this to our previous shares. Bang. This is our final amount. And what I'm going to do is just calculate all of our dividends here. So we're going to go like this. We're going to add all these dividends here. Bang. So $6,166. We have everything up here. And the craziest part is, look, without reinvesting dividends, we're actually higher than reinvesting dividends. Isn't that something interesting? So let's just go over this entire chart. We have $20,000. We started with shares of about, I'm just going to change this here to general, 1,004 shares. By taking this 1,004 shares, what I've done is multiplied it by the last share price. This is assuming you've held on to all these dividends. It looks like you would actually be up. Whoops, we're going to take that out. Bang. It looks like you would actually be up if you were to not reinvest your dividends and only collect the dividends from the $20,000 instead of reinvesting. But if you think about it, now you have 1,300 shares. If you just hold on to this 1,300 shares and you just collect the dividends, $200, $800 every single month, you're going to significantly outweigh your 1,000 shares at 20 cents a week. So now that we've got our $20,000 investment, let's bump this up. Let's change some numbers here. What if we were just to change this to a $25,000 investment? Okay, so we see here we're up to $28,000. Of course, we can look at our monthly income. We would have had a couple months which would have hit $1,000. Let's say we invested about $45,000, because my monthly goal here, as you can see, is $2,000 in terms of monthly income. And with this, we would have been close on, it looks like, June 13th to our $2,000 a month goal, but no, we wouldn't have hit it. So we need a little bit more. Let's go for $50,000. Okay, let's see what we would have had here. So if we invested about $50,000, we would have hit about $2,000 in terms of monthly income. But when we look down here, this is our weekly income. So if we take 735 times, oh, okay, you know, we're going to have to do this. What we'll do here is we'll go equals. We take our weekly income here of October 7th, $735 times 4, boom. That's $2,000. That's almost $3,000 in terms of monthly income. So if we invested about $50,000, we would be hitting $3,000. That is 50% more than our total monthly income goal of $2,000. Now what we'll do is let's go to $100,000 as promised at the start of this video. Let's see exactly what we would be earning. So if you had $100,000 invested in YMAX at a share price, their IPO of $19.92, you'd be earning, looks like, up to $4,000 in terms of some months. Your total investment would have gone up about 15%. If you weren't to have reinvested dividends, it would have gone up about 19%. And it looks like your total dividends paid out is $30,000. So if you literally just held your shares, you would have received $30,000 in terms of dividends. That is awesome. That's pretty cool. I can't lie. Of course, you'd have some share price depreciation over time, so it's not a free $30,000. But let's see, what if we now had $250,000? Let's go a little bit crazy here. I like big numbers because big numbers motivate me. $250,000. We're looking at $6,000 right off the bat. Then 7. You can see these little dividend increase all the way up to $10,000 in terms of monthly income. And then here we're looking at a weekly income. $250,000 invested. We're looking at a weekly income of about $3,600, which turns into a monthly income of $1,400. That is pretty cool. Now for our final dividend marker, just because I'm having so much fun, I want to go to a huge amount. This is like if you got money that you're just looking to burn at some point or see a crazy return, $750,000. This is not suggested. This is not financial education. This is only for entertainment purposes at this point in time. So $750,000 would turn into $20,000 every single month in terms of monthly income. And when we're looking here, we get up to months as big as $30,000 in terms of monthly income. And then our total dividends for not even the year, just for the first 10 months of the year would already equal to $231,000. But we're looking at, if we're taking our October 2nd dividend, which is this one right here, this is our weekly dividend. The $10,000 here has become weekly dividends, and we multiply that by 4 to give us our month. We're looking at $44,000 in terms of monthly income. That is insane. So it just kind of shows you the power of high dividends. How sure, like over time, your dividends are going to be buying you more shares. Of course, here, if you look at this example, it's bought you over 12,000 more shares from when you've begun. But of course, we're playing with such a huge current, like, starting investment. So this was just a little fun video to show you what $100,000, we got $250, we have $750,000 would get you in terms of YMAX dividends. I hope you guys did enjoy. I hope it kind of opened your eyes. Of course, from here, once you're receiving maybe your $40,000 a month from YMAX, $750,000 invested, then you maybe look to diversify. Every single month you buy SCHD or something like that. $40,000 a month is a huge investment where you can pour into other investments and really grow your long-term wealth. And it all starts with some high dividends. So that is pretty cool. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, we're up to 5,747 subscribers. Give us a like, give us a subscribe if you enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.